Have you ever noticed how the moment you get close to a woman, the moment she seems like she finally wants you, she suddenly withdraws, goes quiet, or starts pushing you away? That sting you feel in your chest when she distances herself? It's not an accident. It's not random. And it's not because she doesn't care. The truth is far darker, far more unsettling, and it's something most men go their entire lives never understanding. But you're here right now, and I want you to really sit with this. When a woman pushes you away at the very point she desires you the most, it's not rejection, it's fear. She is afraid of losing herself in you, afraid of the intensity of the connection, afraid of what it means to hand you the power to truly affect her heart. Think about it. The one thing every strong woman dreads is losing control. And when she finds herself craving your presence, longing for your attention, desperate for your touch, she feels vulnerable. And vulnerability, to her, feels like danger. You see, when she begins to feel that pull, that magnetic pull toward you, her instinct is to protect herself by pulling back. It's not logical, it's emotional. It's her nervous system fighting to preserve the walls she spent years building. And here's what most men do wrong. When she pulls back, they panic. They chase harder. They beg for clarity. They push, thinking if they just explain how much they care, she'll lean back in. But this only drives her further away. Why? Because in that moment, she needs space to process her fear, to reconcile her feelings, to test whether the ground beneath her is safe. If you smother that moment with desperation, you confirm her deepest fear. That closeness equals losing control. So I want you to remember this. A woman's pushback in the heat of connection is not the end. It's the beginning of a test. She's not rejecting you, she's measuring you. She's asking without words, are you strong enough to hold steady when I panic? Are you man enough to stay calm when I get scared? Most men fail here, not because they're unworthy, but because they mistake her retreat for rejection, instead of recognizing it as proof of her desire. When a woman begins to pull away, every instinct inside you will scream to do the opposite of what actually works. You'll feel the urge to explain yourself, to convince her you're safe, to shower her with reassurance, to close the gap she just created. That reaction doesn't come from strength. It comes from fear. And women can feel that fear like a radar. They sense when a man's calm turns into panic, when his certainty turns into neediness, when his confidence collapses under the weight of her silence. And in that moment, something inside her shuts down. Not because she doesn't care, but because she just got her answer. He wasn't as strong as she hoped. Listen closely. Women don't test men with words. They test them with distance. They test them with silence. They test them by withdrawing at the exact moment when connection feels overwhelming. It is their way of asking, are you the rock I can lean on when the storm inside me rises, or will you break under pressure? Most men crumble. They chase, they argue, they ask, what's wrong? 20 different ways. And each attempt only confirms that he cannot carry her storm without making it about himself. But the rare man, the man she cannot forget, does something different. He does not collapse into panic. He does not rush to fix her mood. He holds his ground. He remains calm, steady, collected. He understands that her pushback isn't about him. It's about her battle with vulnerability. He knows that real attraction is not proven in moments of laughter and light, but in the dark hours when her emotions run wild. That man communicates something powerful without saying a word. I am not shaken by your storm. I will not chase your chaos. I know my worth, and I know your fear is not rejection. It's proof of how much I matter to you. That quiet strength disarms her. It unsettles her defenses. Because suddenly, she realizes this is not a man she can control with distance. This is not a man who collapses when she withdraws. this is a man she cannot shake, and that terrifies her in the best way. So if you want to know why a woman pushes you away when she wants you most, it's because she's waiting to see if your strength is real. Will you stay solid when she retreats? Or will you crumble like the rest? Every man wants to believe that love is simple, that if she feels something for you, she'll lean in, she'll open up, she'll let it flow. But here's the truth most men never hear. For a woman, desire is not a straight line. It's a battlefield between what she feels and what she fears. And the stronger her desire for you, the louder her fear becomes. That's why the paradox exists. She pushes hardest at the very moment she wants you most. It isn't cruelty, it isn't confusion, it's self-preservation. She has been conditioned her entire life to protect her heart from men who promised one thing and delivered another. She has scars, stories, shadows in her memory that whisper, "Don't trust this, don't give in, don't let him have that power." And here's the part that will sting. It doesn't matter if you're not like those other men. She won't know that yet. She has to feel it, over time, through your actions. That is why the man who reacts with panic loses instantly. Because to her, panic looks like weakness, and weakness looks like danger. Think about it. Why would she hand her heart to a man who can't even hold his own ground in the face of her silence? Why would she surrender her deepest vulnerability to a man who shatters the moment she steps back? You want to be the exception. You want to be the man who stands out. But exceptions are not made through begging, through chasing, through convincing her you're different. They are made in the quiet moments when she withdraws and you don't collapse. When she hides and you don't chase. When she tests and you don't flinch. That's when she begins to realize, this man is not like the rest. He doesn't fear losing me. He knows who he is, and maybe I can trust that. This is why restraint is more powerful than persuasion. Your ability to pause, to remain composed, to resist the urge to fill every silence says more to her than 1,000 promises ever could. Women don't believe words. They believe patterns. They believe consistency. They believe what you show them when emotions are high. And if you can hold steady in that fire, she will begin to surrender, not because you demanded it, but because you proved you were unshakable. A woman's heart is not a puzzle you solve once. It's a storm you learn how to stand in without drowning. When she pushes you away, she is not asking you to chase, and she is not asking you to leave. She is asking, in the only way she knows how, can you remain solid while I battle my own chaos? Most men fail this test, not because they don't care, but because they misinterpret the language of her distance. They think silence means disinterest. They think withdrawal means rejection. But in reality, silence is her armor, and withdrawal is her shield. Understand this. When she desires you deeply, she is stepping into a territory that feels unsafe. You become a mirror that reflects back her deepest insecurities, her hidden fears, her buried wounds. Every moment she spends wanting you makes her feel more exposed. And exposure is terrifying, because it means she has something to lose. That is why she creates space. It's her attempt to control the vulnerability that feels uncontrollable. The tragedy is that men who don't know this take it personally. And in their panic, they do the very thing that confirms her fear. They show her that desire makes men unstable. But the rare man, the man who changes everything, sees her retreat for what it really is, a test of presence. He knows that if he can hold steady, if he can maintain his frame while she gathers herself, then her walls will eventually crumble. Because here's the secret. Her retreat is temporary, but your reaction defines whether she returns. If you chase, she loses respect. If you collapse, she loses trust. But if you hold steady, she begins to feel something she didn't expect. Safety. And that safety doesn't come from words, gifts, or reassurances. It comes from your calm. It comes from your refusal to let fear dictate your actions. It comes from the quiet message you send when you don't panic. I am not here to take from you. I am not here to control you. I am here because I choose to be. And whether you lean in or pull back, I remain who I am. That steadiness breaks through her defenses like nothing else, because it proves you are not a boy chasing validation. You are a man who cannot be shaken. The moment you stop chasing is the moment she starts feeling. That's the paradox. When you give her space instead of collapsing into it, something shifts inside her. At first, she may try to convince herself that you don't care, that your silence means indifference. But deep down, a seed of curiosity is planted. Why isn't he reacting like the others? Why isn't he trying to prove himself? Why isn't he scrambling to hold me? That question unsettles her because it forces her to see you differently. Suddenly, you are not just another man caught in her orbit. You are the one she cannot predict. And unpredictability is powerful. A woman expects a man to chase when she pulls away. She expects him to beg for answers, to fight for her attention, to prove he's worthy. When you do none of that, you disrupt the entire pattern she's used to. She feels the gap between her expectations and your actions, and in that gap, desire grows. Because now, instead of worrying about losing you, she begins to worry about losing your presence. She starts to think, what if he really doesn't need me? What if he truly knows his worth? What if I was wrong and he's the man I've been waiting for? This is where most men don't realize the silent shift taking place. By holding steady, by refusing to panic, you've already passed the first layer of her test. She begins to crave the very stability that scared her at first. She starts leaning back in, not because you pulled her, but because she cannot stay away from the man who doesn't flinch. And when she leans back in, she will do it cautiously, quietly, almost pretending she never pulled away in the first place. That is her way of protecting her pride. Don't expose it. Don't gloat. Don't say, I knew you'd come back. Simply remain the same man you were when she pulled away, calm, grounded, unshaken. Because here's the truth. The power is never in chasing. It's in allowing her to feel the loss of your energy without ever removing yourself completely. You don't disappear, but you don't smother. You remain present, yet unattached. That balance is what creates gravity. That balance is what makes her not just want you, but need you. There will come a moment when her fear and her desire collide, and this is where the entire game is won or lost. She will lean in, then pull back. She will show warmth, then retreat into coldness. She may even say things that sting, words that seem designed to push you away. And here is where most men fail for the last time. They take her words at face value, they absorb the sting, and they either lash out or give up. But what they don't see is that her resistance is not truth. It's defense. Her heart is speaking one language, her fear another. And she is watching to see which one you will listen to. If you lash out, if you mirror her retreat with anger, you confirm her belief that men cannot handle her depth. If you crumble, if you start pleading for clarity, you confirm her belief that men cannot handle pressure. But if you stand firm, if you listen without breaking, if you remain calm even in the heat of her storms, you send the message that no other man has managed to send. I see your fear, and I am not afraid of it. I see your walls, and I don't need to tear them down. I will stand here, unshaken, until you decide to let them fall. That moment is rare, and it's where her attraction transforms into trust. Because attraction alone is fragile. Attraction makes her curious. Attraction makes her flirt. But trust, that makes her surrender. Trust makes her stop testing. Trust makes her put down the shield and allow you in. And trust only forms when you pass through the fire of her resistance without losing yourself. Do you understand the power of this? When she pushes away the hardest, it's not the end, it's the final threshold. It's her subconscious saying, "Prove to me you are the exception. Prove to me you are the man who will not fall apart in my chaos." And if you pass this moment, she will no longer see you as just a man she desires. She will see you as the man she cannot replace. Most men never reach this point because they run, they chase, or they fold. But the man who stands still in the storm becomes unforgettable. Now listen carefully, because this is where everything comes together. A woman pushing you away when she wants you the most is not rejection. It is the purest sign that you matter to her. If you didn't, she wouldn't retreat. She wouldn't feel the need to protect herself. She wouldn't test you. Indifference is quiet, cold, and final. But when she withdraws in the heat of desire, it means she is torn between fear and longing. It means her feelings are real enough to scare her. And in that tension, she is asking the question that decides everything. Is this a man I can truly trust with my heart? You see, every time she distances herself, she is looking for proof. Proof that you will not collapse under pressure. Proof that you are not desperate for her approval. Proof that you can handle both her love and her storms. And if you understand this, you stop taking her retreat personally. You stop making it about your own fear of loss, and you begin to see it for what it is, an invitation to rise. This is what separates men she forgets from men she never replaces. Any man can make her laugh. Any man can spark attraction. But only the man who stays calm when she panics, who remains grounded when she retreats, who refuses to chase when she withdraws, only that man earns her respect. And respect is the foundation of lasting desire. Without it, attraction fades. With it, her attraction deepens into something she cannot walk away from. So the next time she pushes you away, remember this truth. She's not rejecting you. She's watching you. She wants to see if you are rare enough to stand tall in the silence, strong enough to hold your frame when she loses hers, unshakable enough to give her something she cannot find anywhere else, stability in the storm. Pass that test, and she won't just want you, she will need you. Fail it, and she will convince herself her fear was right all along. Now I'll ask you this. Have you ever had a woman pull away right when things felt the closest? And how did you respond? Drop your answer in the comments. I want to hear your story. And if this spoke to you, like this video, subscribe for more, and share it with a friend who needs to hear this truth today.